Ángel la ciencia.
Here at the Hideaway, we are fully degenning it here tonight.
Let's
on
go,
a Saturday
boys.
night. Hit some sake.
Got a little drinks in us before. We got a friend with us actually this time, Nocturnal Beats. Check him out. He makes some pretty sick beats.
Hey, you probably seen his outro in our videos, actually all of our last videos, so thank you to him for that. Let's go, boys.
We'll
Keep
see
you
you
updated.
in there.
Get it.
What's up, boys? How we doing? Frankie and Jello got in one extra session while I was back in San Diego, so this is me catching up to them. So I'm gonna be in that vlog with this session that was filmed today, this date. We're just starting off with our classic in and out. Get the brain fueled up. Just took a brutal final. Did not go as planned, so tensions are a little high heading into this session, but hopefully we can run good to make up for it. Yeah, let's see what we can do. You just heard the Prosper Donkey say he's happy to make me play the big blind. Prosper Donkey is a player at the Hideaway that we have a lot of experience with. He killed us on Game of Regret. Frankie and him have gone at it. Great guy, psycho poker player, plays 100% of hands, never know what he has, likes to bluff, wants to make the vlog. Very important, obviously, for you guys to know this. So we're actually going to a flop with not a terrible hand, Queen 10. Multi-ways, big blind we check. Flop comes Queen high. We are not hating it. Checks to Prosper Donkey, who bets $8. Folds to me. We are going to call, and as we call...
Going off of it on the turn.
I know you are. I'm prepared. I'm prepared. As we call, he says he's going to blow me off of it on the turn. He's going to overbet. Let's see if he follows through. I think he will. The turn is the 3 of hearts.
I pretend to think about it.
I check. Sure enough, he overbets $30. Given that this player is capable of having any 2 cards, we are not going to fold just yet. I make the call. The river, king of hearts, backdoor flush gets there. He could totally have a backdoor flush draw.
Let me think again. I know you're saying. I know, but I have to think.
He could have a random king, so not thrilled. I check, and he checks it back, meaning we are almost certainly good. I flip over the Queen 10. We are good. He shows Ace 2 offsuit. Yeah, any 2 cards capable for the Prosper Donkey. We take this one down and move on to the next one.
This episode, you're going to see a 1v1 brawl versus one of my favorite players of the Hideaway. He likes to go by the nickname of Prosper Donkey. Alright, so I did not plan on recording this session, but when he sits down, action happens. Alright, pocket kings. I decide to bump it up here with the premium to $10. Prosper Donkey himself makes the call on the big blind, going off to a flop, which comes pretty favorable. King Jack 6. Okay, now I will tell you it's all hearts. So monotone board, not as great as originally expected. However, when he checks it over to me, I'm obviously going to be c-betting here. I decide to size here for $10. He snap raises me to $35. Really not going anywhere after the raise to $35, but I'm getting a little nervous of some possible flop flush holdings he could have, as he's going to be calling all of his suited connectors, and since he's an aggressive player, he's going to be calling a little wider, so he's going to have 8-5 of hearts, those gap suited cards. So I do make a call. The set of kings is way too strong to fold here. We're going off to a turn card, which is the bang, 6 of clubs. We get there immediately. Let's go. We needed the board to pair to be confident in this hand, and now we are very confident as he leads into us for $45. Here with the nuts, I decided to just make the call. I want to keep all of his semi-bluffs in the middle, as he could be bluffing with the ace of hearts here with a pair, ace of hearts with the jack, either of those combinations, and I'm hoping he gets there on the river. I don't think he does, as the river is the ace of clubs, but he does not slow down. He does reduce his bet size. He bets, again, $45. So it's a small sizing on the river, which makes me think he is kind of weak. However, with $200 left in our stack, I'm going to be going for max value, and this is a perfect spot to do it if he did flop a flush, as it will be very hard to get away from it. So I jam it all in there with my full house, only losing to pocket aces, and he very hesitantly makes the call with the nut flush draw, ace 10 of hearts. So, you know what? Good for you for even thinking about making a fold here, as that is a very standard cooler and a great way to start our night. I'm very happy that it comes against this player as well. Very happy about that.
For this hand, we are in middle position and we look down at ace jack offsuit. Folds around to me and I open it up here to $10. Folds around back to the big blind and he decides to come along for the show, so we go to a flop heads up. We see a flop 6 ace 9, 2 hearts. Not a bad flop for me, as I pick up top pair with a pretty good kicker as well as a backdoor flush draw. Big blind checks and I decide to c-bet here for $15, as I would with any of my bluffs as well. Before I can even toss in the $15, the big blind announces he is all in. He jams his whole stack here for $130 total. Pretty tricky spot here, as I have a really good hand. However, there are a few hands that are ahead of me, for instance ace 6, ace 9, 6-9, or any sets. It's tough to put him on any hand specifically because he's in the big blind, so his range is pretty wide. However, here he tries to really convince me to call. I'll let you guys listen into what he says.
I want a flush draw. You have a pair, you're ahead. I kind of want to double up.
As you can see, he's pretty freaking convincing. After he says all of that, he actually gives me the opportunity to see one of his cards. He flips over the 5 of hearts. I'm a little confused for a second, but I think about it and there's not a hand that I can actually be behind here. The best holding that he could possibly have, knowing that he has the 5 of hearts, would be ace 5, 2 hearts. And that's one hand that's pretty much a flip with me. However, there's a lot of hands that I'm crushing. There's no hand that I'm actually behind here. I toss in the call here fairly quickly once he shows me that card, and we go to a run out, deuce of spades and a river of the 8 of clubs. I table my pair of aces and we are good. Kind of a weird route this guy took. I have no real other reason to not believe him that he had a flush draw, so I'm glad to fade the hearts on the turn and river, and we scoop up a pretty big pot.
If you were about to click away from this video, don't, please. This is the best hand of the vlog to date. All right. Whoa, with that introduction, let's see this hand. Pocket fours. We see the under the gun player lead for $8. This is the donkey himself, Mr. Prosper, making this bet. The hijack makes the call, and with the pocket pair, I am just going to be making a call here, as the implied odds are crazy good against an aggressive player who's going to be bombing flops, turns, and rivers with a large variety of holdings. Awesome. So let's go to a flop, which comes pretty favorable, kind of good. 4, 8, 4, boys. What? Yeah, I just flopped quads. My face melts in this moment. I am in absolute shock. Disappointingly, the under the gun player slows down and makes a check here. With the stone cold nuts, with no card to worry about, I decide to make the check here, hoping that all the hearts get there, all the straights get there, all the scare cards get there, as I want everything to get there and I want people to catch up to me as I flopped the world. All right, going to a turn which is the 5 of clubs. The under gun player leads for $5. The hijack makes the call, and now all of you guys are wondering, what's he going to raise it to? How much is he going to make it? How much is he going to charge these guys? Get the money in the middle. Let's go. I just make the call here, guys. Definitely don't love this play, as I am making fun of myself here a little bit, but I am fine with it, as I am in position and I'm just begging for all the cards to get there. And in position, I'm fine with this play. Out of position, I definitely would be raising here on the turn. So let's see that last card. It is the 2 of clubs. And now the under the gun leads for $20 on this board. Hijack folds, and we are going to put that esteemed raise. Decided to go for a sizing that's not too greedy. I raised to $75. I just want him to make a desperate call here with pocket 6s, pocket 9s. A desperate call doesn't happen though, unfortunately. He decides to raise, boys and girls, to not 175 to 275. The bet is now $275. Holy shit. I am tanking now. I actually go into the tank here. I try to make it look like I'm really struggling. Gave him a nice acting 101 lesson with quads. It's the only player who matches my stack, boys and girls. We have quads and we are all in. He shows me pocket 8 before making a call, and we have the winner. Top set versus quads.
Oh my
god. Oh my god.
For a absurd $1,500 pot. Oh my gosh.
This hand we look down at 6-7 of clubs, a fun suited connector in the hijack. There is one limp, and the first mistake I make this hand is I limp behind. Obviously, as we start getting better, we're going to want to not limp at all, because people are going to know when you limp, you don't have a great hand. When you raise, you have a better hand. So definitely want to be raising hands that we want to enter pots with. I elect to limp here, see a cheap flop with people that I like to see flops with. That's my logic. We go to a flop a lot of ways. Flop comes ace, jack, 3, 2 clubs. We flop the flush draw. It checks to me, and based on everyone limping, I don't think anyone has an ace. And I want to build a pot with the potential to hit a flush draw, so I bet $10. This is another sus decision by me because I could be called by hands that are beating me. I could be called by better flush draws. I'm really not setting myself up for good scenarios down the line, which I think goes all the way back to limping pre-flop. Anyways, this is what we do. We get 3 callers, and the turn is the king of clubs. So we hit the flush. It checks to me, and I can't really be scared of someone having a higher flush as I've played this hand. We got to go for value. I bet $35, and only Prosper Donkey in the big blind calls. Probably the best case scenario is he can have a wide variety of holdings. The river is the 5 of spades, and this is where it gets interesting because he only has about $105 behind. So when I'm thinking about the sizing I want to do when he checks to me, I don't think I want to just jam and value own myself if he has a higher flush. He's just going to call, we're going to lose the maximum. I essentially want to make a bet that is going to get hands like top pair holdings, maybe 2 pair holdings, 2 call, and hands that he is not going to want to re-raise. He's just going to want to call for cheap and take the showdown with. So that is why I elect to size for 55 and not go for all the marbles. He does call quickly. We flip over the goods. We're good. He did say he had an ace. He says he had 2 pair even. So maybe he would call off his whole stack with 2 pair, but I really like our logic not value owning ourselves after we didn't play the hand perfectly to begin with and could easily be up against a higher flush. We take this one down. Okay, this hand needs some context, and I'm a little embarrassed to report it, but as part of this poker journey, we're going to be transparent with you guys. So, you guys have all been there. It's like your last orbit, you're about to leave, you have a solid profit, and you say to yourself, I'm basically going to fold everything till my big blind comes. I'll play aces, I'll play kings, sure, but besides that, let's just fold, lock up the profit, get out of here. Obviously, if you're playing fundamentally sound poker, you should play your range no matter if it's the beginning of your session or the end of your session. I recognize that, I know this is bad, but let's get into it. Pocket aces, under the gun +1, meaning I had 2 hands left in the session and was only going to play it if it was one of these babies. So pocket aces, we're going to play pocket aces. We raise it up to 15, and sure enough, Prosper Donkey in the small blind makes the call. We can't just steal the blinds. We got to go to work. But we got the best hand in the game. Flop comes 8-4-2 rainbow, and he donks out for $20. So we are just buckling up here. Debating between a call and a raise, given what you guys now know about Prosper Donkey, what I know about Prosper Donkey. His range is 100% of hands. He wants to make the vlog. He's got a lot of bluffs. We're just going to call and evaluate a turn. Don't want to scare off his bluffs. Want to keep his range wide. When the turn is the 6, the rainbow 6, so now there's a rainbow on the board, he bets $75. And this is a huge bet. For him to donk flop on a board that totally doesn't favor my under the gun range, he would be scaring off all of my overcard hands that he would want to get value from if he had a made hand. So by him donking, I'm not going to put him on a made hand yet. When the turn's a 6 and the only draw that makes sense, which is the open-ended 3-5, gets there, yeah, this is going to go back to me saying that this was my last orbit, this is my second to last hand, I want to lock up a profit. He even says he's going to bet $200 on every river, which is going to put all my profit to the test. I make what is probably too tight of a fold here. I know that you shouldn't let the timing of the session affect your play. I'm going to be honest with you. It did this time. I wanted the profit. I locked up the profit and maybe made too tight of a fold. After the hand ends, he shows me a 3. I'm perplexed. I beg him to show me the 5. He refuses. After the camera cuts off, I tell him I will throw the hand in the vlog if he tells me what he had. And he says that he thinks I had an overpair, in which case I made a good fold. He says he had 3-5. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, he could be lying, but Prosper Donkey and I go way back at this point. I don't think he's lying. I think he actually had 3-5. He showed the 3, which means we actually made an insane fold with our overpair. We do save all of our profit and end the session with money in the bank.
I unfortunately missed the recording for this hand, but I did want to show you guys it. Anyways, we are looking down at ace-10 offsuit in the small blind. Under the gun player straddles here, and under the gun +1 player just limps here and calls the $4. Folds around all the way back to me in the small blind, and I decide just to toss in $4 as well. See a flop, hopefully for cheap. Big blind completes, and under the gun player checks, so we're off to a flop 4 ways, and it comes 6, 7, 10 rainbow. Pretty good flop for me as I pick up top pair, top kicker. I check it over, and the big blind checks as well, and it checks all the way through. We see a turn of the 10 of clubs. So I pick up trips, and there also now is a flush draw for the club. For some reason, I decide to check again here. I think I probably should be betting most of the time, and it checks all the way over to under the gun +1, who throws out a bet of 16. It's a pretty sizable bet. However, I'm ahead of pretty much every hand here, except for sets and maybe a flop straight. I decide here I probably should be raising, so I raise it up. I check raise to $40. Big blind folds, and under the gun player cold calls, so that's a little alarming for me. I don't really know what type of hands he'd be cold calling with here. Maybe a flush draw, maybe a weaker 10. Anyways, under the gun +1 ultimately makes a fold, kind of weird angle by him, and we see a river of the 4 of spades. Heads up with trips with the top kicker, and this guy that's played this hand pretty passively. I want to charge weaker 10s. I bet $80 here into a pot of, I think, about 110. And the under the gun player snap raises me. Actually, he raises me to $210. This is where the alarm bells start ringing off. I'm going through my head of all the hands that I can be beat by: 8, 9, pocket 6s, pocket 7s. So I decide here that maybe he can be doing this with weaker 10s. He might be doing this with 10-9, 10-jack, 10-queen, 10-king even. I decide here after tanking for a while to make the call. Unfortunately, he shows me 8-9 for the flop straight. Maybe I should just be folding that river, raised folding, as there aren't very many hands that he will be raising there with. So we lose a pretty big one here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thanks.
Oh my God, who's here?
Hit my record cash 2 times in 1 week. Biggest cash twice in 1 week.
20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 40, 60, 84, 20, 40, 60, 80. You're at 5.
I love you, Dustin.
6, 7, 8, 9,000, 11, 12, 13, 1,400, 50, 70, 90, 1491.
Not a bad session, not a bad session. Just had our biggest cash ever. Cashed for $1,500. That's a profit of $1,200. Our biggest cash ever. So this week, Monday night had that big cash for $1,050. Thursday night had the cash for $450. Tonight, Friday night, had the cash for $1,200. Profit of $2,600 this week. 2,600, baby, let's go. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Like for quads, subscribe for those quads. Let's go, boys. Catch you in the next one.
Just wrapped up my solo session at the Hideaway Boys and Girls. Pretty solid session. Into the game for 300, out for 454. Ended up with some great hands, got some good value in some certain spots, I believe, and made a horrible fold with pocket aces to cap off the session. That turned out to be not so horrible. You guys are gonna grill me for that one, but we made the right fold. I know it was bad, but so yeah, a $154 profit. We're feeling good. Clearly, Frankie had me covered by a little bit this session. Good for him. Always good to see the next gen boys in the black, however. So yeah, positive vibes all around. Might have to go stop it in and out again on the way back. I don't know. Yeah, this helps get over the pain of finals week being over. Done with the semester. There's gonna be more to come, boys. Thanks for watching. Buy the merch, subscribe, hit the Instagram, do all those things. I'll talk to you later. Peace.